We now move on to something else we've been talking about from the start of today, and Dr. Renu had mentioned it, the importance of emotional wellness. So we have another interesting conversation coming up, but first I request Dr. Renuka David to please join me on stage. Let's give her a big round of applause. We can't wait to see what questions she has in store. This afternoon, Dr. Renuka will be in conversation with Revathi. Asha Keluni Nair, better known by her stage name Revathi, is, as you all know, an Indian actor and director known for her works predominantly in Tamil and Malayalam cinema, in addition to Telugu, Hindi, and Kannada films. She has several accolades to her name, including 3 National Film Awards, 6 Filmfare South Awards, and she's also won the Kerala State Film Award. Apart from films, Revathi has been involved in a variety of social organizations, the most notable being the Banyan, the Ability Foundation, the Tanker Foundation, and Vidyasagar, and has also served as a member of several film festivals. We are so excited to have you with us this afternoon, and for this session, please put your hands together for the one and only Revathi, ladies and gentlemen.
It's such an honor and it's a privilege to be in conversation with Revathi. We've known each other for some time. We are friends. And so I think it's going to be very easy having this conversation with you. And Revathi, you and me share a defense background. Yes. So how was it first, being an army brat? And then what motivated you to join the entertainment industry?
Thank you, Renuka. Before I answer your question, I have to say this is, I know, closer to lunch. I hope most of you are not too hungry. We'll try to answer the questions as the shortest possible. But after Major General Dogra's conversation, I mean, I am actually speechless. It's kind of inspired me as well in a great many ways. Hopefully one day I will do the marathon. So yes, I think the army background is one of the most amazing backgrounds that children can grow up in. And we also see the armed forces being represented here widely thanks to all the organizers that we have here. So here, army background kind of, the first thing that I feel is it lets you adjust to new things very easily, Renuka. One doesn't feel out of place anywhere because, you're there for some time. In 2 years, you're shifting schools all the time as children, and you make friends very easily. I think it's been a huge, I would say, a powerful thing that happened to me. And when Dad retired, I was really upset, and I said, why did you have to retire so soon? So, yeah.
Very true. And after 2 years, you start getting restless. Time
Yes.
to pack, no? It's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
absolutely. How many schools did you change, by the way?
I think about 8 schools, yes.
I can
Mostly
relate
I
to
was in Kendriya Vidyalaya, and then I shifted to the convent.
So, Revathi, coming to our talk on emotional wellness, the importance of emotional wellness, it hinges on the link between sentiment, character, and moral instincts. And all of us know that emotional intelligence, it encompasses the 5 tenets of self-awareness, motivation, managing your emotions, then dealing with empathy, and of course social skills. So first of all, do you consider yourself to have, are you high on emotional intelligence? And what do you think that it is important for you to have that in your day-to-day life?
When I grew up, basically, we never thought about these things. It was not segregated into so many different aspects. It was basically about, the emotional security that you had in the family. and the happiness that you get when you do something that you like. So it was just that, you feel happy or you feel sad when you don't get it, and you feel happy when you get it. So it was just very simple, but now that it's been segregated like this, Renuka, I sometimes find it difficult to put it in so many different boxes. But I think I am basically very secure. So yes, I think I am high on emotional intelligence, going through all the ups and downs of life, still keeping yourself, happy from within, not just, to show people. I think that that is very powerful, or it's very. You get it only if your family background has given you that sense of security. Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think that we should create this awareness? Because earlier it used to be intelligent quotient, the IQ, which was the metrics in the school curriculum. Do you think now we should also seriously talk of, I think some schools do incorporate EQ into their syllabus, but how are you? I mean, would you like to insist that all the schools should have a little bit of this in their curriculum?
I think it is very important these days, because living in the society of today is very tough. It is extremely taxing, both mentally, psychologically and physically. You're working, most of the young people these days are working more than 20 hours. I don't think, people have a social life. I remember when I was young, my father would be home by 5:36, and there is a time where you visit neighbors, you visit friends, and children have time during the week, and you are not constantly put into different classes, different, music, swimming. You did all that, but still you had time. I don't know how. The time management was better those days, maybe. But yes, I think schools definitely need this, and in my daughter's school, it is there, and there are speakers plus parents going and talking to children. They also have very interesting sessions with the teachers, and I think it's really important. The sharing is definitely caring for the others in the society. So it is important, Renuka.
I completely agree on that, because I think today with all the stress, remember when we were growing up, mom used to say before the lights, the street lights, you have to get back home and come home, or you made to kneel against the wall, or koya kuchi. So that was our growing up. But yeah, you're right. Children are so stressed these days, and it's very important. And do you think that there are different set of rules for EI at workplace and different set of EI at home?
See, I think workplace, in my opinion, is easier than home, because home you have people whom you live with, and you have to constantly look at what their thoughts are and how to deal with certain situations, how to deal with a specific situation at home. So I think the emotional intelligence that you require at home with everybody, I'm not talking about parents, spouse and kids, I'm also talking about your house help, your driver, your dhobi, you're constantly it's man management all the time. But at work, if you're a boss, you can just put your orders there, and things just happen. So but I think balancing this, the house, your emotional intelligence at home, and balancing in the office is a mammoth task, because something goes wrong in the office, then your mood at home doesn't work. Something goes wrong at home, then the mood in the office gets affected. So balancing these two and keeping this as two different aspects is a task, and we need to train ourselves for that. As an actor, let me tell you, sometimes, I just go and I have to do a scene which is entirely different from the mood that I am in. And it is tough, But then you just kind of shut your eyes and say that, okay, this is what I have to do, and this is my job that I love, and it pays me well. So, then you just have to shut it down, shut what happened in the office, keep the phones away, and then do the job. So it's very interesting. As an actor, you can put up a tantrum and say, I'm not ready for the scene, but at other jobs, you can't do that. Though, so yes, it is very important to have that balance. Yeah.
Actually, just going off the track for a minute, that's what happens. Suppose you're not in a mood to smile or you're going through something bad at home. I mean, you've not had a bad day, and a fan comes running to you and comes for a selfie or wants, and then I think you have to just play act and be nice or just be grumpy. I mean, there's a choice. I'd asked this to our Madhavan when I was in conversation, and he had related saying that when he was young, he'd gone to one actor to take an autograph, and that guy was so, he was so cold and he was so arrogant, and he vowed to himself that whenever, if at all he became famous, whatever his mood is, he's going to make sure that he'll make it special for the other person. Have you actually gone through that emotion where you're having a bad day and suddenly two people come and say, ma'am, picture, ma'am, this? So how do you deal with that emotion?
Earlier, it was slightly easier when it was autographs and photographs on real cameras. I say real camera because I don't consider this, it's so easy to take. But that time it was easier. And there are times, yes, I have snapped. I wouldn't say that I was always, constantly balanced. Yes, I have snapped. But then I felt so bad about doing it. And if the person was around, I've also gone and apologized. So it has happened. But these days with selfies, I find it very tough. And most of the time I say it's okay because, I don't want to be so much on social media. So if you don't mind, let's not take a selfie. We have spoken to each other, and the memory of having met each other is enough.
So Revathi, Aristotle put it, the rare skill to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way. What are your thoughts? Is it too complicated?
I wish we could do that. I really wish we could do that. There are times that you just burst out because there is something that you need to do. I'll tell you an example. For one, I was shooting for a film. I was a director, and it's a small thing, but when we are people who look into the nitty-gritties and we feel that we want to do the best thing. There was this scene where it's supposed to be in the film at 11 in the night, and there was an actor wearing a watch. So she was looking at him and holding the other person, and we captured it in the camera. And I've always told my costume that whenever there is a watch, please be sure that you take care of the time in the watch. The audience may not see it, but for me, when I see my film, I would only notice that, that it has gone wrong. And we finished the shot, and the assistant director very quietly comes and tells me that, I'm sorry, ma'am, but the time in the watch is 4 in the afternoon because we were shooting it at that time. And I'm sorry I didn't change the time. My God. And we had changed the lighting. And in a shoot, when you are trying to keep up to time and there is a schedule, the actors have to go home. You're battling with a lot of stuff. And when your team doesn't do what they're supposed to do, because that was their job to do it, I just kind of, let all my anger out. At that moment, I just didn't know what happened. I said, look, now Ravi has to set up the entire thing, put the camera back, get the lighting. The actors had changed for the next shot. So, all hell broke loose, and I just let it out. But after that, again, reminiscing back, I said, why did I do it? I could have just said. But, sometimes in most of our work, time is money, and you lose the time, it is difficult to gain the time back. So, yes, I wish, like Aristotle said, we could do that, but I'm not that evolved as yet.
But you're aware, so you're
I'm
nearly
aware.
there. So how important, we know it's very important to say no. It's very, very important. So is it easy for you to say no, or is it difficult, and how do you manage to do that?
Yeah, it's very important to say no, but it is difficult. There are times when it is very, very difficult, and as a celebrity, when you're invited to n number of things, there are friends who are calling you, there are colleagues who are calling you, or there are times that you really don't know what to do. Yes, I have said yes when I wanted to say no, but I think in the last, thanks to being 40 plus, the no comes very easily.
And how do you do it? How do you say no?
Very diplomatically, very politely, with a smile, and say, "I'm so sorry, but this is my situation, and I don't think I want to do it." And these days, there's this crazy thing that has happened with the journalists. I don't know why. I mean, I'm sorry. I hope Barkha is not here. Yeah. So these days, the young journalists, they're not sensitive. Somebody dies at 10 o'clock in the night, an actor or somebody passes away. Immediately they call all the numbers just to get that 1 minute bite of what do you think about this person, he has passed away. And I just don't understand how they can do that. So at that time I definitely say no. I mean, and that time it's a rude no. It's not even a polite no. I say that have some integrity, some sensitiveness to a family that has gone through a loss, and we are also trying to cope up with what has happened. As colleagues, he may not be close to me, I may not have even worked with the person, but you can't just call up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, he's passed away, what do you think? What do you feel? How do I say this? So, yes, sometimes, the common people will never know situations like this, but this does happen, and I feel that, so it's a rude no at points like this. I taught my daughter to say no very young, because she never liked people holding her cheeks when she was 2, 3. So I told her, just say no. And she would say no vehemently. So I'm very happy she has learned that.
And today we had spoken about stress, we had spoken about multitasking and not having time for any social life. So what do you feel brings about burnouts, among professionals or even anybody doing any job? What do you think about what causes these burnouts? Is something emotionally that we have to address here?
Like Dr. Nene mentioned, I was here. The most important thing is sleep. When you don't have enough rest, I think the burnout happens very quickly, because there is a lot of work pressure, emotional pressure. You have a lot of pressures in so many different ways. So the rest, and most people think it's okay if I'll just catch up 2 hours of sleep, and I'll catch up sleep when I'm on the flight, I'll just catch up a little sleep, but that really doesn't work, and I have known it myself. So yes, we need that. And 2 is sometimes I think we invest too much into certain aspects of life. You get too involved, or you invest too much of yourself into it. I think we need to understand where you need to invest and where you can just step back, watch, observe, and then take a step in. So to be able to judge, that is very important. And then I think these days youngsters, there is a lot of emotional confusions. And there is this thing of, oh, you have to be here, you have to do the social media, you have to do the other thing. It's a have to for everything. And I keep saying, no, there is no have to for anything.
Oh, they'll go through that FOMO.
Yeah. So, there is no have to for anything. And I keep telling, there is nothing which is right, which is nothing which is wrong. So it is for each person's perspective, and we just need to understand where is it that we need to invest more. So once we get that balance, I mean, young people will learn But even at 40, if you're saying I'm burnt out, then, you really need to understand and, sit back, think, take a step back, and just think, what is happening to me? Where am I going? Do I have to do all these things? And I think that step back and reviewing what you're doing will definitely help.
Even if it means changing jobs.
Changing jobs, changing your lifestyle, everything. Yeah.
That's where the intrinsic happiness would come.
Absolutely, because I think in the end, the body, the mind, the wellness that we talk about, that we've been talking about, happens only when you're happy doing what you're doing, sometimes you're stressed because, like I said, the have to becomes an important aspect in your life.
Absolutely. So, do you think emotionally intelligent people often overthink things, often ending up being really hard on themselves? And given today's intense environment of peer pressure and social media validation, what do you think about that? Are they really hard on themselves and they're always critical about themselves?
Now, I would talk as a celebrity who gets into social media. Before, when you did your work, you would hear critics, a few papers, or your family or friends tell you what it is. But here now, everybody can tell you, and it reaches you, and you read it because you want to read it, And at that time, I think these very intelligent people, these, people who want to do the right thing all the time, they kind of get really stressed. Because, they say, okay, I have to be here, I have to be in Insta, I have to be in this, that, I'm, all the bots. They want to please all the bots. And it becomes very stressful. And they see everything that everybody is saying. So, again, I think it really depends on the individual self to decide where you want to be. And I don't know if the intelligent, emotionally intelligent people stress too much. I think the other way. I think they know how to keep their emotional wellness and not put too much stress.
I agree. I completely. That self-awareness is there. Exactly. Given today's global workplace, how does AI play out in today's diverse, unstructured, and informal medium like cinema, especially need to embrace diversity and deal with different cultures and preferences very sensitively?
The AI. Okay, this is something I really can't answer because I am trying to understand where AI is with regards to our lives. And the film industry, since it's a creative industry, there is a part of it, a very small part of it that AI can take over. But in the creative aspect where I belong, no, I don't think AI can take over much. There is a lot more that you have to do in order to take over. Now I can recreate myself, my entire image, much more slimmer and much more without the double chin kind of an image, and create an entire film and shoot a film, make a story. I can do all that. But there is something that the eyes cannot say, in the artificial body. There is something that you will not be able to connect to. So that will always remain. As far as my industry is concerned, I'm not scared at all. I'm not worried about it. AI is still a long way off. Since I'm still trying to understand how our lives are going to change, I'm not really able to answer your question.
Fair enough. So, Revathi, you've been a single mom bringing up a very beautiful child. Would you like to dwell upon any insights on that, in the realm of emotional wellness?
I plan my time, and I try to give as much of quality time to my child, because I feel that is I'm sure whether you're single or you are with your spouse, you do that, you know. But what happens is, I think there is a small, not much, but a small added stress that you have to be there, you have to be the mom, and you also have to make decisions without really, discussing. That is the only thing I find little tough. You know, there is no one that you can discuss with on how to take certain decisions with regards to the future of the child. So that's, my parents at the moment are not very, aware of all the things that are there, because the world has changed so much in the last 20 years. So that's the only thing. Otherwise, the most important is spending quality time and being with her. So yes, my career does take a backseat, but it's okay. I think, I'm enjoying this.
So, this is my last question, and then I'm going to do that rapid fire with a difference. How should women control their negative emotions, especially as they age? Because I see as women age, they're more negative about their self-image. They get a little, maybe perimenopausal time, they're a little underconfident, and maybe hormones are playing havoc or whatever. So what do you think, how should a woman mentally control all these negative emotions?
As far as I'm concerned, the 40 plus gave me a lot of courage to do whatever I wanted, say the things that I wanted. So I didn't hold myself back. But you're right, the menopausal time is a tough time. And that is when I felt that, friends who really mean well are very important. So that you can reach out, you can share, you can talk. Because there are many things you can't do alone. We need to be able to have at least one person whom we can talk our heart out to. Be yourself without that mask we always, try to have. So that is very important, Have a group of friends, hold hands, be there for each other. Sharing is very, very important.
I think that's a louder round of applause we could have. I think that's so beautifully said. So Revathi, I'm not going to let you go so easily. So we're going to play rapid fire with a little difference. Yeah. We do it the bingo way. I saw that. You saw that? With a different set of questions. So here my audience will ask you the 1 minute questions, under 1 minute. So do we have Neha back?
I also have to share something. 16th of September, 40 years back, is when my first film was released, Manvasane. So I'm actually very happy to be sharing and being here with all of you. So it's 40 years since I started working as an actor.
Neha, are you ready? Yes. Okay. Yes. So we have the first question.
This is question number 5.
5.
Have you ever lost touch with a friend and regretted it?
Yes, I have. And, she was really a very close friend during my school days. And I'm happy that I found her. But I did regret because she was one of my closest friends. So, yes.
Yeah, my question is, question number 12, what is the most childish thing you still do?
I still do. I don't know whether it's childish. I'm sure a lot of people do. But when it rains, I love to go out and get wet.
We didn't hear that. Revathi, you love to?
I said, when it rains, I love to go out, and I pull my daughter also out, and we get drenched to the bones. I love to do that. And both of us jump into muddy puddles, even now.
All young mothers, please make note of it. Today's generation is different. Don't go out in the rain, you'll catch a cold. Don't jump on the mud.
My grandfather, when we used to go, it was during the rain seasons that we used to go to Kerala. He used to say, as soon as the rain comes, he would just say, put a tort, which is that Kerala towel, around your head and go, get wet. Don't sit inside, So that, because that's part of immunity. So...
Neha, where are you? Okay.
This is question number 8. What's the best and worst piece of advice that a friend has given you?
worst piece of advice. Okay. Um, okay. The best was, I remember a friend of mine, a colleague of mine in the industry, said that, you know, when somebody comes and tells a script, a story to you, um, she said, listen to the whole thing and take time before you say yes or no. Before, I used to just say a yes or no immediately. But then she said, take time, Revathi. Don't ever say yes or no immediately, because one is sometimes because I've done a lot of mistakes by saying yes and making bad films. So she said, take time, So that is, I think, one of the best advices. And the worst advice, I don't know. Diet. When anybody advises me on diet, I think I hate it, because I've never ever dieted in my life. I've just eaten homemade, home cooked mum food. Very little of the fast food these days. But I've really never dieted.
You don't need it, I think. She's gorgeous as she is.
This is question number 3. What's your favorite book or movie that celebrates female bonding and companionship?
So what's your favorite book or movie that celebrates female bonding and companionship?
Movie, I'm not very sure, but one of my favorite books was by Ayn Rand, which was named The Virtue of Selfishness. And I found the title very odd. But in that, it talks about, it's not really about female bonding, but it's about female empowerment. And I have followed that book quite a bit. There are times I have felt that you should not be selfish, but then being selfish makes things better, because when you are, it's about the wellness quotient. When you are well, you're happy, your mental wellness and everything, then automatically you give better output. So I'm sorry I haven't answered that question very well, but this is about female empowerment, and I felt that that's a great book.
Good afternoon, ma'am. This is question number 7, which reads as, what are the 3 mantras which have worked for you as a woman?
One is that I have, just a word, how do I say that? Okay, one is about, basically, like I said, Ayn Rand said that, it's not selfish, but it is about talking about what gives you the best, what makes you most happy. So to do what you really love doing. And 2 is, I feel that I love to, I'm basically a very generous person. So in that way, it's an interesting contradictory thing to be selfish and to be generous. I feel both help the woman, and in the end, to be able to smile without, feeling the strain of smiling. Sometimes you say, your cheeks are hurting because you're straining yourself. But to be able to smile, I think these are the 3 things that I feel very comfortable and make me feel good about myself.
And ma'am, this is question number 10. Party with friends or cozy into your sofa with a book?
That's a very tough one. I love time with myself, but I have to tell you an anecdote. I went for a party to a discotheque, and after an hour I got so bored. I went to the corner and I fell asleep in the discotheque. In my heart, I'm not much of a party person, but I would love to just, stay somewhere, maybe on the terrace, sit on the couch, read a book or listen to music. Yeah.
Hi ma'am, what's your favorite stress busting activity? Question number 1.
Okay, the bingo is still not. Okay. My stress busting activity is cleaning. I love to clean my cupboard. I love to clean the house. I love to sit and scrub the bathroom. You know, cleaning is my stress. When I'm really upset or something has gone wrong, I just go pull out everything and clean. So it is cleaning any part of the home or even cleaning the garden, you know, taking out the weeds or anything like that. So cleaning is my... Yeah, totally. I'm not able to see the person who's asking. Where are they? Oh, they're here. I have a long way to go. Dr. Nene got it very easy. 1, 2, 3 and then...
Hi, ma'am. Question number 15. What is your deepest, darkest fear?
To not be able to move, especially now that I'm, seeing a lot of older people and, being on a wheelchair, that is my biggest fear in life. And then sometimes I have to tell, like Major General Dogra said, mind over matter. So I keep saying, no, I shouldn't think like that, So I think it's very important that we understand our mind is very powerful and we shouldn't think of negative thoughts.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I am so lucky to have this question for you. What is the silliest and most fun thing you have done with your friends? Question number 4.
Okay. Soon after I won the National Award for Mitra, it was an all-woman crew and it just happened. So we got the news from Delhi. And the first thing I did is I took 2-3 bottles, mixed it, did the mix, the alcohol mix that we do. And all of us, I took the car, drove, picked up all my National Award winners, the actor who won the National Award, which was Shobana, the editor who won the National Award, my music director, all of us were girls, my writer and all of us, we all went to the beach. And that time it was, the Besant beach was not too crowded in 2000. And we sat there till about 4 in the morning, just laughing and talking about all the things that we did during the film, and we never expected because we won 3 national awards for that film. So it was a big thing for us. And all of us were debuting, I have to tell you. I was debuting as a director. My editor was debuting, not my editor, my music director, my sound recordist, the writer, all of us were debuting. And it was really one of the most fabulous nights for us.
And did people recognize you when you were coming back all sloshed and...
No. It was not really the drinking, but we made those mixes that, what is it called? Ready-made mixes, is it? Or a pre-mix or whatever. So it was not really the drinking, it was more the laughing and talking. So, yeah. And Suresh, my ex-husband, he made sure that we all got home safely. I didn't drive back.
Let's see whether you get the bingo this time. Very close to it.
Many questions.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry to disappoint you once again because it's question number 11. Okay. So the question is, what is your biggest regret?
Oh, you got the bingo. You got the bingo.
Oh.
3, 7, 11, 15.
Fantastic.
Ah, yes.
She's got the bingo.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So you could repeat your question.
Yeah, the question was, what is your biggest regret?
What's your biggest regret?
That I did not listen to my mother and I did not do my graduation. I'm not a graduate officially. So that is my biggest regret because I'm not able to do anything further. Okay. So now a friend recently, actually just last week we discussed about it, said you can do MA directly, yaar. You're over 50, so it's okay. So
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Revathi, it was lovely. You got the bingo, but then, the crowd loved you. That's why I think they didn't let you get the bingo earlier. It's fascinating. I think she deserves a huge, huge round of applause. She was just awesome.
I just have to say thank you, Dr. Renuka. I mean, she's doing a great job. It is so important that we talk about all these wellnesses. And just 2 sessions, the startups, the 3 of them who came up on stage, how wonderful the young people are, to think out of the box, work so beautifully. And I think hats off to the young generation. I feel that generation is the one that is going to take, our country forward. We're going to leap up. So already the world is looking at India so wonderfully. So, I think it's fabulous what you have done. And thank you for that I was here when Major General Dogra spoke. It's going to give me a lot of mind power. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renuka, and a big thank you to Revathi as well for that very, very interesting session and a lot of fun tidbits and anecdotes. To do the honors and present a memento to Revathi, I'd like to request Faye D'Souza to please join us on stage. Welcome.